Hey guys, Brandon Willem with CCM Magazine today, hanging out with Tasha Layton. Tasha, been a big couple weeks for you. The debut full length. How far is it's finally out there? How's it feel to finally get the album out there compared to just releasing the EPs and singles like you have in the past?
Well, it's like birthing a baby, Brandon. You wait and you wait and you wait, and then the time is finer. And so, it feels a little bit different than a normal release just because we do have some songs on there that have already been, played live and had radio play. And so it feels a little bit different, but I'm excited for the new stuff to be out. And the response has just been great. So yeah, we've really enjoyed hearing everyone's comments, and the stories have started coming in. So that's my favorite part about it is when people start writing letters of what God is doing in their hearts through the music, and so yeah.
Several of those songs already out, but several new ones too. Which of those new songs were you most excited for people to hear that they hadn't heard yet?
I don't think I have a favorite, but I definitely have a flavor of the week. I think I've really loved Help Me Let Go lately, just because that's where I'm at, as a person. And then Catch My Breath, I've gotten a really strong response to that song. And so, but I'd say my flavor of the week's probably Help Me Let Go.
Nice. Well, you also just got your first number one song plaque here recently too for Look What You Done. How cool was that?
I did. It's very cool. I haven't hung it up yet, but it is here.
Is Keith going to
And
have to
I
take
have
one of his
seen it.
down to make room for yours now?
No, he has his own wall. He has his own thing. We part of the agreement when we moved into the house we live in now is that the downstairs is his realm. Studio, all his mess, everything stays downstairs. All the music equipment, it's got to be down here. It can't be, in the living room, in the bedroom, in the bathroom. I came home the other day and he had 4 trumpets in our bathtub, cleaning them with like solution and all that, because he said our bathtub was big enough to do it the way he wanted. So I was like, this is not okay. You need to go back downstairs.
Well, that song kind of takes us through some of your previous battles with depression and anxiety, and this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So as we're talking about this kind of thing more, what kind of advice would you give somebody that's sitting here watching this interview and struggling today?
Well, I think the first thing that is really, people want to do when they get depressed is isolate. And I think that's the biggest hindrance to healing. And, often we're depressed because maybe we were hurt in community, but we're also healed in community. And God cares about that. I think, the first 4 commandments were vertical, but the rest of them were horizontal. And I think us being made in his image, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, he could have chosen to be alone, but he didn't. And so I think community is very important and being in relationship. And so, in this day and age with the internet and online church and stuff, it is really easy to stay disconnected and to not get in there and do the work of community, because it is work. It's not easy. And hurt people. So I think I would say don't isolate, and then don't be afraid to get the help you need. I think in my journey, I really couldn't move past a certain point where I felt stuck because I needed help. I needed a professional to help me get where I needed to go and help me to figure out what were the roots and why was I feeling that way in the first place. And so don't be afraid to get help. Don't isolate. And the only other thing I'd say is you have more fight in you than you know. Don't give up, and just know that God has a plan for your life. And, the enemy can't just take you out. He's not strong enough to do that. But if he can get you to believe a lie that I'm not good enough, no one would care if I was gone, no one cares about me, I'm all alone, no one understands, then you just self-destruct. And none of those lies are truth. So.
You co-wrote a lot of this album too, some pretty big names on there. How are those writing sessions? I'm guessing some of them were a while ago, maybe even pre-COVID.
Yeah, some of them were pre-COVID, and some of them are always a wild ride. Matthew West is so funny. I I'm constantly laughing, riding with him. And then Darren Mulligan, I love that guy. I love him for a lot of different reasons. But, anytime anything good happens in Keith's or my life, Keith's my husband, we always hear from Darren. He always sends a text, so proud of you. Keep going, girl, all that. And he's just a natural encourager. He's very honest, which I really appreciate. And then we had Matt Hammett, which he he's written so much over the years, and so that was an easy one. Tony Wood, Tony has more top songs than I think anybody in this town. It's kind of crazy how many songs he's written. I love the songs we wrote for the Christmas record with him, and we wrote "Thank You for the No" with him and Andrew Berkthald from We the Kingdom. And Andrew, I like to describe him if I was old enough for him to be my adopted child. I would love to call him my adopted child. I just think he's a precious person. And and then Keith, my husband, wrote on most all the songs. I think, if not all, most of them.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit. That's a unique situation you have. You live with your producer. So are there times that you guys are just like almost asleep, you get an idea, and you got to run downstairs to the studio and do a tape right then?
I'm always that is Keith. I'm always the one that, I have 2 kids under 5, which means I haven't slept in 5 years. And I'm always the one to say, no, I need to sleep. I don't want to work right now. And he'll be like, no, we got to do it. Or if we're on a deadline, it's the other way around where like, okay, somebody needs something from me. I've got to cut something to get it to mix. And then I'm like, Keith, we have to do this. He's like, well, I have stuff to do. And I'm like, well, just take 10 minutes. And it always takes longer. And, the advantage to the studio being in our home is that we can wait till the kids go to bed and just come down and do what we need to do with baby monitors. And I think most of the album was cut in that fashion.
It looks like you've started taking your kids out on some tour dates with you now. How's that experience been?
It's wonderful because I don't have any mom guilt for leaving them at home. And it's also exhausting because when they wake up and they want to snuggle, they're not climbing in the nanny's bunk. They're climbing in my bunk. So it is extra work, but it's worth it. And, they love being on the bus. They love going out. They come home to preschool and tell their teachers about their bunk and the TV in the bus and how many different shows they could see on the TV. And so it's a lot of fun. And ultimately, I think our goal for the fall and winter tours is to take them with us full time.
And there's going to be a lot of festivals on that run too. I've seen your dates, and pretty much every Christian festival is on there. So if you got a festival in your town, be on the lookout for Tasha this summer.
Yeah, it's a busy time right now for sure.
Which is good. We didn't know if we were ever going to be here again a couple years ago.
I know.
All right, guys, got to go listen to How Far. It's available everywhere now on all the streaming platforms from Tasha Layton. Tasha, thanks for joining us today.